hardest decisions that I've ever had to make, but when I sat back and took the time to really think, and I feel it's the right time, both for me as a player and as a person, for us as a family, and for the Scotland team as well.
Hello and welcome back to the official Scottish Rugby podcast. Today's episode is all about Greig Laidlaw, Scotland's most capped captain, as he calls time on his Scotland career. Last week I headed over to Claremont to sit down with Greig to talk about his Scotland career, family life and his time playing with Claremont.
Yeah, I like to take on a school on my day off, actually one, to give Rachel a rest, and two, yeah, it's nice to spend a little bit of time with the boys. You usually get one day off in the week. Today is Thursday, so we're usually a Wednesday, but we play on Sunday this week, so we're a day later. Yeah, we're very happy. It's an excellent part of the world. Really good people here in Claremont, and I think the club's really well run as well. So that helps a lot. But it's been not all plain sailing. So it's got its challenges moving away to a foreign country that speaks a different language, but we've embraced the challenge, we've had good fun, and we're looking forward to the rest of it that lies ahead.
Unfortunately, Mike Blair, captain's injured, but Greig Laidlaw looks like he's going to be coming on. And here he is for a moment. What a scoreline to come on to, but it is a first cap for Greig Laidlaw at scrum half. Familiar name, nephew of the great Roy Laidlaw.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous, obviously. Being on the bench for the first time for Scotland, and realising I could potentially make my first cap, and thanks to Mike, he got a bang of the head after about 25-30 minutes, and then I was chucked on, straight into the fire. In essence, we were playing against the All Blacks, and we were a couple of points behind, put it that way. So I think when it's your first cap, it's difficult sometimes to take everything in, and I was just, I think, in awe of everything, and being able to play for Scotland, and realise my boyhood dream was unbelievable experience, and to be on the Murrayfield pitch alongside some of the great Scottish players, but certainly that day I think Dan Carter, Richie McCaw were playing for New Zealand, so yeah, it was an incredible day, and certainly one I'll never forget. Yeah, so I've taken the emotionally extremely difficult decision to step away from Test match rugby with immediate effect. So I'll be retiring from international rugby as of now, which, as I said, more emotionally, probably one of the hardest decisions that I've ever had to make. But when I sat back and took the time to really think, and I feel it's the right time, both for me as a player and as a person, for us as a family, and for the Scotland team as well. I think World Cups are probably a good time for transition. It's never going to last forever, sadly. So, and I think that I've always been passionate about. You only ever get a certain amount of time in the jersey, and you need to give the jersey everything you can, and I feel I've done that. And my time's sadly now come to an end, and I look forward to watching the boys pull on the blue jerseys, and I'll be right behind the team going forward. When you take the emotion away from it, which for me is hard to do because I'm an extremely passionate Scotsman, and it's been a massive part of my life, and it always will be. It was hard, but as I said, when I did remove that emotion, I felt it was the right time, both for the team and for me, and I've given everything I can, and now it's up to the young boys. And certainly my rugby journey is not over. I'm still playing professionally, which I'll be looking to do for the foreseeable future. But in terms of that international commitment, I just felt that the timing was right.
You mentioned Murrayfield. I remember watching you in the summer tests during the anthems, and I think when you came off as well, you're clearly very emotional. You obviously knew then that that was potentially your last home game. So you knew then, didn't you? So how was that, feeling singing the anthem for the last time? Clearly got to you.
Yeah, I struggled a bit on that day. I'd been thinking about stepping away after the World Cup, and that was probably my initial thoughts. So I was probably 90% certain it was going to be my last game at Murrayfield, and so it was difficult. It was probably made even more difficult when I seen all my family in the stand, which sometimes you try and avoid seeing them because it's an emotional time singing the anthem. And I was just glad I was able to do it and play with some of my good mates, Hoggy, Finn, boys like that, Sean Maitland. So I think to share that experience with them was outstanding. And, I thought about announcing something before it, but I just didn't feel that was the right time. I just wanted to concentrate on playing good rugby, and not having any other distractions for the team. So anytime you get to do it is special, and certainly that's a day I'll remember. And we beat a good French team as well, that's ultimately what it's all about.
When you're given the honour of captain and being leader, there's obviously an expectation. I know you put that on your own shoulders as well, but how much do you enjoy leading?
It's a good question. Listen, I think, for whatever reason, I've been selected as a captain over my career, and so obviously somebody sees something in me. I enjoy it because I enjoy the challenge, and I think, I enjoy being part of the group and giving the group energy, and that's been a big part of who I am as a player and as a person. And I just like trying to bring the best out in people, I guess. And obviously some coaches have picked me over the years, and I just certainly standing in the tunnel, ready to run out of Murrayfield. There's nothing can replicate that, nothing beats it. And some of the fondest memories of my career, my Scotland career, will be standing in the tunnel at Murrayfield, ready to go with the rest of the squad behind you. It's an incredible feeling, and certainly one I never took for granted.
But you've obviously had thought about the future as well. What is the plan for you? If going forward in life, what's your aspirations and goals out with rugby?
Yeah, well, firstly, as you said, I'm still in contract here in Claremont, so I'll keep playing professional rugby. I think for as long as I can, really, because my body's good, my mind's good as well, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think that the step back from international rugby will just allow me to just have a few breaks in the season as well, which I've never had before, and just stay mentally fresh. In terms of the long-term goal is certainly I'll probably look at coaching as something I may go into at some point down the track. I'm pretty passionate about that as well, and I want to maybe try and stay involved in the game if I can. If not, I work closely with my agency back in Scotland through Rowan Shepherd, and they're excellent with some of the off-field stuff as well. So I've hopefully a few options away from rugby as well if I choose to go down that route. But I think, as you mentioned before, I'm somebody that's pretty passionate. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so whether I could be prized away from the rugby field, that remains to be seen.
You're clearly very popular, not just in Scotland but around the world, and tremendous support over the years for you as a player and as a person. So what would your message be to all those fans that have supported you over the years? What would you like to say to them?
Well, I'd like to say just thank you, I suppose, because I think maybe they underestimate what it means to players to get little messages of support here and there, and sometimes in pressured environments, little messages of that they go a long way, whether it people's coming to the stadiums, whether it social media messages online, or people taking time out to phone you. It's been massive, and it all just adds up to making it that more special, I suppose. So just a massive thank you to everybody that's ever supported me and lended me their help over the years.
It's been a wonderful day of rugby at the home of a game in Scotland. Smiles all round.
Thank you very much for listening to the official Scottish Rugby podcast. If you'd like to hear more from Greig in France, simply head to scottishrugby.org for access to the full video. We'll be back in the new year with more exclusive content.